Genres of literature. Kids, this is our library. All the books here are stacked by their genre. In this corner, we have fiction and nonfiction books, and there we have poetry and drama stacked up.
Miss Jane, what do you mean by fiction, nonfiction, poetry, and drama?
Good question. Today, we will discuss some common literary forms and understand what genre means. Common forms of literature. Literature sounds like an important academic term, but it all just basically means everything people read. Stories, poems, novels, textbooks, news articles, and even song lyrics are all types of literature. There are a couple of important ways that literature is classified. The first classification is poetry and prose. Poetry is literature that is written in verse format, which is where the sentences and paragraphs are divided up into lines. The name of this type of writing is a poem. The lines in a poem often rhyme, but sometimes they don't. Poetry is often short, and its goal is to show how beautiful or funny the language is. Most songs are actually poems. You should try to read the lyrics of your favorite song instead of listening to it. Prose, on the other hand, is literature that is written in normal format, divided into sentences and paragraphs. Most of the things people read on a daily basis, like books, stories, news articles, letters, and even Facebook status updates, are written in prose. The second classification is fiction and nonfiction. Literature is fiction if the events and people described are not real. Usually, this is a made-up or imaginary story that is read for fun. The events never happened, though it is possible that they could happen. Sometimes the characters are based on real people, but the events that happen are made up. Novels and short stories are examples of fiction. Nonfiction. Literature is nonfiction if it is about real people and events. The facts in nonfiction can be proven or tested, and the writer is usually an expert who did a lot of research on the topic he is writing about. Some examples of nonfiction are textbooks, news articles, informational books, biographies, and autobiographies. A good way to remember which is to remember that fiction and false both start with an F, and that fiction is false. Nonfiction, on the other hand, is not false. Drama. Drama is a special kind of literature. It is literature that is meant to be acted out, like a play. Sometimes people read dramas the same way they read books. Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare is a good example of this. You'll probably read it when you're in high school. Here is the summary of the lesson.